are like enough in order for you to develop these particular emotions. We believe that this mechanization only exists like in Immanuel's explanation. Notice also like one reason that we also like outweigh against opening opposition is that we actually deal with the fucking like counterfactual, which is to say, in the absence of this particular thing, the people that have control over love and how love should be perceived are the people that are like closer to you, which might not have the experiences that you want to have or that you might have had you been exposed to different things. This is to say, even if my dad takes care of me, or my dad is more keen in my development than like a particular movie, if my dad is not gay and he does not perceive love that's something that can be achieved between two men, then I will never be able to experience that and achieve my full level of happiness, even if my dad like takes care of me and even if he wants me to like be successful, whatever the case is, because like that's not a way in which he can experience those particular things. We believe that Manuel like is the one who explain why that comparative is worse and why in the absence of this like of the popularity of romantic love, the fact that some people are going to create pop culture that is based on other things, and if all the government bench recognizes that the ones that have power are white males, then on their side of the house, the stories are not longer to be about love, but maybe about money, maybe about the hero journey, maybe about conquering stuff, maybe about getting into college. Manuel explains how those things are comparatively inaccessible. Yes, some people don't know how to fucking flirt. Yes, some people are asexual. Yes, some people might not have like the stereotypical forms of love. Nonetheless, comparatively speaking, it's easier to feel love for someone than to enter in college, becoming rich, like moving out of a country, or whatever like the things that are going to be sold like Western media on their side of the house. Manuel is the only one that explains that. Therefore, actually engaging with governments also as weighing us against opening opposition, because we actually deal with the comparative. Now, why do we beat both governments? First, opening.
CG's problem, the repeater attention span, I've been adding for algorithms, but that can also apply to Call of Duty. And your problem is that sex and deep connections are not specific to romantic love. So on our side, we still have deep connections with friends and sex.
Of course they are not. But if love, as you say, exists in other forms, we would rather have something that is accessible to understand than your PE teacher telling you how sex should look like. Comparatively speaking, I would rather have Zendaya explaining that to me because it's more accessible to me than my PE teacher. If that is something that I'm gonna do regardless, then I would rather have a closer connection to that particular thing. CG is derivative, definitely. Probably way better in terms of mechanisms. I believe that if I target CG, I'll deal with both governments with the same impact, better mechanized in CG. Notice how the response by the government whip is self-mitigatory. Because they say, you need to acute to the common denominator. Then he says, but your feed is super personalized, so we no longer have to do that. If that is the case, then we no longer need to acute to the common denominator because TikTok is so fucking amazing because you programmed it that we have more capacity to have differences in TikTok. This also proves that more people have access to control the narrative. This is to say, this is not because of competition, which might or might not happen going to our opening, but the fact that so many people now are now participating in social media suggests that more people have control of narrative, and therefore some 13-year-olds that tweet maybe I love two people at the same time now contributes to the narrative, therefore democratizing the control that we have over it. We believe that's something exclusive. Yes, Matt.
Yeah, white straight couples and POC gay couples alike rush into bad relationships and stay for too long on your side because they're scared of being single and they learned about sex from Euphoria.
Okay, it is rather unlikely that people are going to want to participate in a relationship that is toxic. The thing is, if you are not able to see how a toxic relationship looks like on your side of the house, you might believe that that's the only form of love that you actually encounter, because that's the only scenario in which you are encountering love, because you were not exposed to it prior to your experience. In our scenario is the only one in which actually see how toxic relationships look like, because that can also be part of the plot of romantic relationships, and therefore we see that those are negative. We do not believe that the pressure is so big for you to enter in the first relationship, but rather the contrary. I will not tolerate someone that's a fucking dick, because I've seen in movies that I need to be with a prince. Therefore, I'm gonna wait for someone that treats me as a princess, assuming that is the case, because I've seen that is the expectation of love I'm going to have. I do don't see why I would settle for something less if I've seen what I can achieve. Manuel is the only person that explains what's the social utility of particular narratives and how love contributes for us to broaden our experiences, have better understanding of relationships, and become better romantic relations. Very proud to oppose.
Yeah. Let's shake hands and thank you for the